Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, let me just do my daily thing. I forget what it's called. Tweets, that's the word. Oh, oh. I know past me from like 3 seconds ago. I also sighed. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I'm really having a lot of fun with this Disfigure update. I've been playing it a decent amount, if I'm being completely honest. Let's hope it actually works on the game capture. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. Who cares? We have other ways we can do it. We have other things we can do. I've also been getting into an idle game that's just this browser one. Me and Blimmin' browser games, specifically idle ones, they work together. It's me and them. It's a match made in heaven. Look at this. So, the plan today is to try, emphasis on the word try to get through hard mode on every one of these. Now, the reason why I say try is I've gotten hard mode done on one of these. It's this one, minigun. I've gotten hard and nightmare actually on minigun. I think minigun might be the easiest thing to do it on because that's the only one I've done it on with. My plan today is to try it with the basic pistol, just to see if I can do it with the basic pistol. If that fails, and I don't think I'm even close to it, I will start choosing stuff that I'm a bit more useful with, like this one, like the sniper, or maybe the Gauze katana, potentially the lever action. You know, these kinds of later ones. I'm pretty good with the hand cannon as well. But the general plan is simple. We're going to go from top to bottom, assuming I actually do okay with this one. And it is harder. We've tried this challenge before, and I failed, and it was on a lower difficulty than what it is now. Because now, there's a lot more projectiles, or like these things on the ground that you gotta not step in, which are effectively projectiles, except the projectile thing doesn't help against them. Which makes you significantly weaker, but also it makes the thing significantly harder. But they also added mutators, which are things you get from killing the bosses that give you a bonus, but also a debuff in some capacity. So that's the plan at the very least. We'll see how far we get. So these are the mutators I was talking about. So as you can see here, it's like fully heal, but you no longer can increase your current max. You know, like deal 150% more damage, but also take double damage. You know, each heart you currently have, so you have to have hearts. You get a bonus to your movement speed, but sorry, your bullet speed. You know, I'm going to turn this down slightly because I can't hear myself think. You get a bonus to your bullets damage, but lower movement speed. You know, you got this one where you gain 10% bullet damage for every minute that passes, but you'll have lower movement speed. You know, you got this one, gain two hearts, less movement speed. Heal, movement speed up, XP down. You know, these kinds of things. I've been not getting these ones because I don't see the point in them. Like this one just increases your damage and fire rate, but lowers your movement speed and circle range. This one I don't really understand the logic of. And then there's this one where it just drains, so you have to switch. I don't like switching. I stay in circle all the time. The ones I go to are effectively these two, which is the bullet damage over time buff and the fire rate over time buff. And occasionally I get this one, Sprout, because normally I've got decent enough, what's the word? Crowd control that it's fine. I'm assuming that he's planning on later, but they're planning on later putting something down here, because they are planning on reworking map 2. So yeah, we're going to try and go through on hard mode, all of them, starting with pistol. It's been a while since I since I played pistol. One of the things I will say about Disfigure, it used to be like an instant load. Now it takes a while. It takes a while to load in. I'm not sure what changed. I'm guessing the adding of all of the different... Because they added like 4 or 5 different mobs. All of this sort of like mini-boss style. They are quite scary, because they haven't removed any of the scary things, you know, the fast-moving enemies that you were dealing with before. So it can be quite a scary thing to deal with, honestly. I've been liking Bleed a lot more, especially with the higher fire rate builds, which I will try and lean towards. Because you're getting multiple attacks on the same guy, so you get this... There's another one where it's like if you hit Bleed 3 times, it like buffs the this one. It like does a 300% of your bullet damage to them. So the base start of this game is very, very similar, if I'm being honest. It's just, you know, the basic troops, and then occasionally you get the scorpions that shoot at you, but that's about it. It's around the... I don't remember what mark it would be, but at some point you start noticing that, like, there's this new kind of enemy, this sort of mini-boss. When that happens, I'll point it out. You'll probably see it, because they're not exactly, like, small or, like, not unique in any way. Lower bullet damage, but increased bleach. Yeah, sure. I've only noticed now that the pistol is this pistol is held the same way as the revolver is. I've started prioritizing in this because of the new enemies. You actually have to prioritize movement speed a hell of a lot more than you used to. Here's a new enemy. So watch as they get close. They put this on the ground and it slowly charges up and then it does an attack. So it's not like a projectile, but it's kind of a projectile. And so I've found that the way to deal with them is to effectively make sure that you can focus 100% on that creature. So having, like, ricochet, so that when you're hitting the creature, it's ricocheting off of them. Or shrapnel, so that when you kill a creature, it turns into small little ones. I can't believe I actually... that's just... If this was not on stream, I would just restart now. But those kinds of things are the things that you kind of need to have, just so that you can focus all in on those mini bosses, and they drop enough for it to be worth it. Normally, you're getting a level from it, especially early on. I think bullet damage is an obvious thing that we need. I know I said I was stacking fire rate, but that's more in terms of like basic upgrades. You want to be able to one-shot the basic troops. Admittedly, you probably want it to be to the point where even your ricochet is one-shot, really. Especially when you're going heavy ricochet, you want it to be... You kill them in one, so you automatically get the ricochet attack. See, it's been so long since I played pistol that I'm not really sure what the way you're supposed to build it is. Or, like, the ways you can build it. I probably should have checked the later upgrades just to see what it expects you to go down. Ricochet up to 3 times. Probably worth taking. Even if it means that our fire rate's down. A lot of things, I don't know if it's changed or I'm only noticing it now. But a lot of things have stuff that is related to lowering fire rate for a bonus. And I don't rate that. Fire rate's huge. Unless you're using something... Look at this one. Their attack is a bit weird because it sounds exactly the same as... Well, it sounds very similar to... How did that happen? How did that happen? It sounds very similar to taking damage. So the amount of times that I've gone, oh, I just took damage, when actually in reality it was them just finishing their thing, their attack, is a lot, if I'm being honest. See, this increases my AoE, but it does lower my fire rate even more. Okay, no, actually that's worth it. But you can see what I mean. You gotta focus it down. Because if you don't focus it down, it becomes a real problem really soon. Killing 3 enemies with a single ricochet instantly refreshes the school. This one's really good, but we'll take this. It's weird with that shield barrier one. I never want to take the, I never want to take anything more of the shield barrier other than the first one. But I really want to take the first one. Does that make any sense? No, we want to be constantly shooting. I think, as much as I want Pierce, I think Fire Rate is just a huge bonus now, just to get me back to the... I think this gets me to 5% above the original. Because I took a 10% debuff and I took a 5% debuff, then I took a 20% buff. That feels a bit better. And the bosses, the big bosses, have also sort of changed. So they've stayed the same in the sense of design. But now they actually shoot projectiles, so they become an infinitely more annoying boss. I kind of felt like I wasn't getting hit by that, but their legs move around too much that I occasionally make mistakes like that. Maybe I shouldn't have taken Pierce. Maybe I should have re-rolled for the extra health. I always shoot at his face, not realizing you don't need to shoot his face. Ah! I knew when I early on did it that I had made a mistake. But you can see what I mean when I'm talking about that. It has made it harder. Inherently, I don't hate it, in fact, because it was arguably a bit too easy to win on hard mode before. Which I know is weird for me to be saying after I failed to do it in hard mode, but I don't rate whether it's too easy or too hard on... Well, I guess I kind of do rate if it's too easy or too hard based on whether I can win. But in the sense of, like, if I can win against it, if I can do it easily, I think it's very likely to be too easy. We're getting rid of this. I never go cone vision, that's just an easy delete. Let's take the lightning. You know what I learned that was surprisingly a trap? Is with shock, there's a one that you can get where it's like, if you kill a certain amount of enemies, you get a lightning bolt instead of a shot. That is actually arguably a trap. Which I think is quite interesting. I've found it can be a trap at the very least. If we want to talk about what happened last week, there's one thing I really want to talk about, because I've been seeing some things on Twitter. Obviously, I'm only seeing negative stuff because, of course, I am, because Twitter like lives off negativity. So I'm sure there's many people that are actually quite positive in this aspect. But I just wanted to have a talk about it because, as somebody who's seen this thing, I want to, like, give my 2 cents on the whole thing, even if, you know, I'm not an expert person in this category. And what I'm talking about is, of course, the Devil May Cry series. I realized while I was talking about that and keeping it vague that maybe people would think I was talking about the Minecraft movie. I haven't actually seen that yet. I've heard mixed things about it. Some people going like, this is really, really bad, like the worst thing I've ever seen, and then some people going like, it was kind of good, the music was pretty fun. Anyway, talking about the Devil May Cry series, I binged it over, and you know this if you look at the Twitter. I watched it over the weekend, and I've seen people berate the animation. I've seen people berate the changing of the lore. And generally, and I'm being completely honest here, I don't see where they're coming from. This one, I don't like it. What do you get after that? I don't want that. Delete that. I don't see where they're coming from at all. Was the animation the best of the best? No. I think it had its own style and interest that I thought was really, really good. Seeing it in the style of like the X-Men reboot that they did, like the old style X-Men reboot thing. Seeing it done in that style, I think it worked great. I think the character was great. I thought people like the things I look at when people talk about animation is I look at the fight scenes, and I went into it going like, look, these fight scenes aren't insane masterpieces, but they're funny. They're funny, and I get a chuckle out of them, and there wasn't a point in it where I felt like, oh, I can see that this is a really, really bad, and they've hid this really badly, and I'm just like, I don't know what people expect from animation, but I thought it was good. And then the second thing has been the lore. Now, I understand that they have severely changed from the lore in from Devil May Cry. I understand. I'm here to do the argument of, I think they've done a good job of turning a beat 'em up that didn't have particularly good lore, in my opinion, and they've turned it into a very interesting show. I've seen a couple people bringing up this seemingly, I guess, Hollywood thing of wanting to turn every sort of like objectively evil thing, specifically demons is what people always bring up, into these morally grey creatures and species. I think, without going into spoilers, I think the way they did it made it a very interesting story and made it so that there wasn't an objectively bad side in terms of species on either side. And I thought that was great. I thought that was a great thing to do. I don't understand this dislike for it being done in this context. It's been done a lot of times and badly. But my thing with this is they haven't gone, oh, these people who were objectively evil before are now objectively, like, they're all just grey. It's like, no, there are evil people, objectively evil people on that side. There's just also now people that are not evil. And there's some people who are grey. They're not now just a culture that's objectively evil. Well, not even a culture, like a race that's subjectively evil. And I think, although I'm not a huge fan of people completely getting rid of objectively evil, like empires or races and stuff, because like in some cases they're needed. There needs to be a villain, and sometimes you want there to be a villain that is Ooh, that's cool. Every 5 seconds. Let's do this one. I like the lucky bullet. Sometimes you want there to be to be an empire that's just, no, they are evil. They are just an evil group. There's no like moral stuff to it, and you want an objectively evil villain. Sometimes you want that, and I understand. But I think what they did with it is they made a very interesting story over what would have been boring. What would have just been like a guy killing demons, and yeah, sure, that's cool, but it's not an interesting story. I think they did a very similar thing to what they did in Castlevania, for example, where Castlevania has the vampires in the animated series they did, and they're all objectively evil people of the vampires. They exist. But there's also people that are morally grey, who still are blood-sucking vampires, but you can sort of see good in them. You know, there's people that work for Dracula, an objectively evil person. But they work for murderers that are evil, but you can see them and you're like, well, they're not fully evil people. You know, I think that's cool. You give them more of a character to them. And I think that's what they did in DMC. I've seen some other people talking about like, oh, they've changed this character to be doing this instead of doing that. They've moved bosses around from that weren't in certain games. And I'm like, that's nitpicking, in my opinion. That's really nitpicking. They took a character who was like, effectively looked like a police officer who worked as a mercenary when actually she works for the government this time around. That's fine. That doesn't change many things, in my opinion. I thought it was very decent. I thought the new villain they added that wasn't from the games, I thought was great. I thought it was... There's not much really that I can complain about in terms of it, other than the only thing that I questioned was that why there was just these random why there was just the Vatican was just not using modern technology to guard their holy relics. Like, I understand, for example, that for like our Buckingham Palace, we've got the Palace Guard, right, who wear all the fancy stuff and they ride around on horses, and you're like, well, they're not actually going to be able to hold their own against like they're not actually going to help in an actual like fight. But like, even they hold guns when they're doing that, and we always are under this assumption that it's like, well, they're not actually the main thing guarding Buckingham Palace. There's actually a force there that deals with everything, you know. I don't know. That's my only complaint about the whole thing. My literal only complaint. The rest of it was interesting, was cool. It took something that I have seen in other media before, but put their own spin on it that I really liked. And seeing these people that I had seen as bosses before in this game, even if they had taken one from a later game and added it, and they changed the design slightly, it's fine. I knew what they were going with it. And the little callbacks they did to the actual game shows that they actually do have like a lot of love for the game. At least someone in their group does, because they do loads of callbacks to like the weapons you'd get for him in games. I don't know. In my opinion, they took something that's a beat 'em up that had very limited story until maybe the later games where they tried to do a bit more story, but even then it wasn't an incredibly complex story. And they went, hey, why don't we make a complex stuff with it? And they did a good job. Now, if they did a bad job, I would probably be shouting the same thing I shouted when they made the Halo games. The the series, where I'm like, what, you've not only messed up with the lore in a much more major way than they did in DMC, by the way, but you also just made a bad product. Like, it wasn't good. I think that's the biggest change for me, is that, like, I look at it and go, look, is it exactly lore accurate? No, but they had to change some things to make an interesting narrative. I think it was fine to do that. They did the same thing with the One Piece one live action, where they worked a bit and they changed parts around to both streamline the whole thing, but also just bits that they just decided to change. Whether it was a time constraint thing or whether it was just they thought it was a better thing to do. And I appreciate when they do that, because when you can see that the person working for it is a fan and is not doing it out of malice, or they're not trying to just take an existing franchise and that was the way that they got the grant for it, but in actuality they just wanted to make their own thing, so they're just using the world. When they're not doing that and instead they're actively respecting the source material but changing some things so that they can make a story in it. This one is always actually the easier of the bosses, if I'm being completely honest. Knowing that I'm going to actually lose a life to it, or maybe even die to it, but I think it's unlikely. But yeah, I don't know. I saw all this, well, not a ton of hate, because everybody's been talking about that Minecraft movie mostly. But I've been seeing a decent amount of hate relating to it, and I don't know. I wanted to give my 2 cents about it. I think it's a really good show. I think you should watch it, even if you, are like not a DMC fan. In fact, aren't you probably, based on what I'm seeing, you probably will have more fun watching it if you're not a Devil May Cry fan, because you're not going to be nitpicking. But it's so fun. There's so many bits in it where he's just funny, for one. Let's just do a reroll. Movement speed, please, and projectile lowering. I need the movement speed buff, though. But yeah, I watched that most of Saturday, if I'm being honest. And I do not regret it. It's insane that they came out with... Because it said it was new, but there was all the episodes. And I just don't understand this logic. I'll say this. I'm of the opinion that as much as I will probably dislike it in the moment, realistically, they should release them episodically, or at the very least, like in groups, instead of just all at once, because it's been proven that what happens is people are like, oh, this is we'll talk about this when it all comes out, and then they immediately just go like, well, that's over with now, we're not going to talk about it anymore, and you lose the constant like hype and the expectation and the talk on all the social medias and with people that you get from having it come out one episode at a time, or one like story beat at a time, whether that's a couple episodes or not. Like I just feel like more than anything that, as I know that the whole thing is like, oh, you can watch all of it because that's the big thing with streaming sites. But like, I just don't think that's worth. I think you're shooting yourself in the foot in making like an incredibly interesting and interesting story that people talk about for a while. You're turning, like, if you look at Game of Thrones, like where every episode would come out and people would constantly theorize on what was happening and stuff. You don't get that for any of your shows if you bring it out all at once. It's great for me. I love it. It means I get to watch the whole series without having to wait another week. But it means that I get to watch the whole series without having to wait. And what happens is I talk about it, then I forget about it, and you don't get the hype that you can then use to maybe get another season, you know? Also, this is a lesser thing, but it is another thing that is notable. Um, if you release them episodically, like once a week, occasionally people go back to watch the previous episode when the new episode comes out just to jog their memory. You know, means you get one extra view. That's not the main reason, but it is a reason that you would bring up to like a blimmin' executive or something. I have seen the whole with like some of the Star Wars stuff I watched. They would come out in groups of like 3, and that would be like a story beat or something. And I don't mind that as a concept. Oh, that was close. But I definitely feel like they need to work on that. Just because I think it's damaging. It's damaging their chances of like properly having something go like incredibly popular. Like, I'm not saying that DMC would be like Game of Thrones level if it was episodic. I don't think it would be. But it has a greater chance of getting to, I feel like, be on those levels if they're coming out like that. Look at like Invincible and stuff, and it's like people like eagerly waiting for Conquest to appear, and you're like, would you have gotten that if all of it had come out? No, because people were like, oh, we don't need to wait for Conquest to appear. You know, it's the expectation that I think to a certain extent sells. You know? I'm not a master business boy or whatever the technical term is. But I feel like there's some logic to that. I feel like I'm not completely out of left field. They try and get people to be going like, oh, it's coming soon, get ready for it whenever something new comes out, right? Do we want more enemies? Do we want to lower our vision? I think we're going to go with the lowered vision. It's a significant lower to the vision, but we have the vision ring. And any form of AoE is never bad, because it means we can focus down bosses more. And as you can see, the bosses get a little bit more complicated when it comes to their attack patterns. And our damage isn't perfect. Like, I want to be killing those before they even get a shot off. Just because they can actually be very scary when you're getting surrounded. But yeah, I don't know. I really liked Devil May Cry. There was a couple of new characters that I don't... Either were very, very small characters in the games, or were just completely new characters that I loved. I swear the Vice President is being voiced by like a Batman, somebody who played Batman. I'm not sure who it was, but they sound so much like Batman that I'm like, they have to be somebody that either like that played Batman in something, which just adds another level of cool to that character. And then there's a bunch of these sort of like. By the way, I don't think these are considered because they're not story spoilers. There's a bunch of these sort of like special unit officers that all are really, really cool. And this is another reason why I feel like this person is... This is a very small thing, but another reason why I think that the vice president guy is used to voice Batman is because I feel like they reference Batman a couple of times, just very like, not casually, but like very subtly. Because there's one character in the special group of elite like hunters kind of thing that I'm convinced is supposed to have a Batman mask on, like I guess more like the Robin and other sidekick mask kind of thing on. And I think that's got to be on purpose. Because also she kind of looks like what they sometimes depict one of the Batwoman people. And I don't know. It's there's just a part of me that's like, it feels too similar. There's also another character in it, another one of these elite group guys, that makes me realize that I swear one of the animators that were doing it just used like old Jean Grey art to to make the character. The reason why I say that is because she looks so much like a depiction of Jean Grey that was used in the older sort of style. I'm not sure if it was the animation or the comics, but it looks... Okay, hold on a second. It's that song I don't like because it does that makes me think that my mic is cutting out when it's actually not cutting out. Killing an enemy with a single shot. It gives me bullet damage, and then it gets me closer to this, but I don't really want. Shock damage is increased by 5% for each additional shock damage 50%. Sure. But yeah, there's a part of me that's just like, I'm convinced that this was on purpose. Like, that they had to have looked at, like, old Jean Grey looks and gone, we're going to do this. You know what? I'm slightly tempted to just... Because I'm that specific on it, I'm that sure on it, I almost want to just show you. Oh, Jesus! I've never fought this guy properly, because I've always had enough damage that he just died instantly. Ow. No. No. He's done. He's done. Done. Boom. That's one done. Now, while we're here, I'm just going to quickly show it, because I have to show it. We're going to move... You know what? Let's just make sure I'm in streamer mode on here. Just on the off chance that I accidentally leak my screen. We're going to move this to here. It's the DMC anime. I wonder if it'll come up if I type in Jean Grey lady. Do you reckon it'll come up? It didn't come up. Okay, I'm the only one that thinks it. Okay. Squad. I forget what they're called. It's her in the back, but that's not a good picture of it. Vampire... No, they're not vampire hunters. They're demon hunter... They're not here. Okay, we're gonna have to use that previous picture. We're using this picture. Okay, so, right. No, I want the picture. Right, so... Look at this lady here, right? Look at this lady here. And tell me that she doesn't look a bit like Jean Grey from the X-Men. I remember what her name is. She's called Sentry. I swear she's called Sentry. Is she not called Sentry? Okay, well, it's this lady here. She looks so much like old Jean Grey. I wonder if I can get X-Men Jean Grey old animated. Where is she? Where is she? Oh, I guess she's more like her. I guess she's more like what's her name? Storm. Not Storm. The lady who takes your powers. I swear, it's like it's so similar. I swear there's a version of Jean Grey where she has like hair like this. But either way, like instantly I was like, is that Jean Grey? Anyway, that's a completely side topic thing. But it's just the only thing that was in my head at that moment. Right, let's try shotgun this time around. I thought I was pretty good with shotgun early on in this, but I wonder if it's too slow. And I do wonder about the extra projectile thing and how that works. Ricochet is like my kind of go-to when it comes to this. Shrapnel's always like secondary, but I occasionally also take that. Problem with shrapnel is it lowers your fire rate. There's a lot of early ricochet ones don't just buff your damage. And that's important to me. But yeah, I had a load of fun watching that. I mean, other than that, in terms of what happened this week, I mean, what's increasingly happening that I keep bringing up and I'm keep slightly worried about. That guy got insanely close, for one. Is the fact that I'm coming to an end of my, like, 2 long series at the moment. I'm already, like, effectively at the end of Baldur's Gate. I know where the final boss is. It's just, like, next stream will just be clearing up all of the stuff I want to do, which may not even be that much. How often am I going to be hitting them with that? Not a lot. Never mind, I guess we're taking bleed. You know what? I kind of need the toilet. We're going to go back in a second. We'll talk about the inevitable end of our big series then. Series I? I'll leave you with the music. Don't know why I got rid of the camera on this scene. I'm sure there was a reason. Maybe if I wanted to prepare some stuff or something before coming back. Anyway, yeah, so what we were talking about before was that the fact that both the Final Fantasy XIV and the Baldur's Gate stuff is getting very close to the end. I think I've got probably 2 sessions, maybe 3 on the FF14 one. And I guess if I lose a lot on the Baldur's Gate one, I could have more streams as well. But I'm just... It's scary. Because I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to replace either... Well, I know what I'm going to replace one of them with. Like, FF14's getting replaced with Guild Wars 2. There's no denying that. But in terms of the other ones, I'm really... in terms of, like, Baldur's Gate, I'm really at a loss. Like, there's a couple of RPGs I'm looking forward to, but... Not to the point of, like... Like, my problem with... My problem with finding a replacement for Baldur's Gate is it has to be something I'm 100% sure that not only am I going to be good enough to play through, because that's a real problem, especially when it comes to Japanese style RPGs, I just might not be good enough to actually play it through. What I'm sort of trying to get at with that is the fact that there's been times with Japanese RPGs where it's like, the way I do it, where I'm quite stubborn and I'm not able to... We're deleting this. Where I'm quite stubborn and I don't like switching up my build for every blimmin'... every blimmin'... different battle. I've been stuck on RPGs and I've not known what to do, and I've just been sitting there just going like, well, I'm done with it. But I don't want to do that when it's streaming, you know? I want it to be something that I put in I actively like, you know, I have it, we're playing through from start to end. Unless something big happens. And so there's a couple, yeah, I've looked into that that I'm interested in getting into, but I'm still got that worry in the back of my head, you know? I had that worry when I started blimmin' Rogue Trader, especially. Not as much with Baldur's Gate, because I sort of knew that even at its worst, I was gonna have fun with that. But definitely with Rogue Trader, I was just like, I've played these kinds of games before. There was 2 other games from this exact publisher that I did exactly that. I was like, nope, I'm not having fun with this. I'm stuck at this boss. This isn't fun anymore. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm just gonna give up. So I'm a bit worried about that kind of stuff, but in the same vein, I am looking forward to. It's effectively the only way I play big sort of RPGs anymore is on those two streams. So I in a way I'm looking forward to trying something new, even though there's a part of me that just wants to play Baldur's Gate again, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be very, very interesting, because it's going into a comfort zone that I'm really not like something I'm really not like used to. Because like with Rogue Trader, I knew the general lore of what I was going into. I knew Warhammer 40k. with and I knew the sort of like, is this just cone related ones? Oh, right. I may regret doing that, because that effectively is something that does nothing for me. But yeah, I don't know. Like I knew Warhammer 40k before I went into Rogue Trader, and I knew what's the word I'm thinking of? I knew the D&D world, and I knew the D&D system before I went into Baldur's Gate. But like the ideas I have for RPGs that I'm going to play after Baldur's Gate, other than the sort of backup one, which is Diablo 4, are all ones that worlds I've never been into before. Do I want to double it? I'm doubling it. Look, if it hits 2 people like it is doing regularly, as far as I'm concerned, I've effectively doubled my damage. And by actually effectively doubling my damage, it sort of stayed the same, but every future thing is doubled now. Especially with the bleed stacks. They actually work with me hitting multiple times. Oh, this was a mistake. Oh no, this was a mistake. Oh no. What do I pick? What do I pick? Do I reroll? I have to reroll. Give me shield. None of these are shields. Let's pick that. Slow us down. Slow them down. Please die. 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 No! Pardon me. Also, with them being newer RPGs, I won't have that backup of just going, okay, I'll just look it up, because it's taking me too long here. Like, could you imagine if I was playing Baldur's Gate New, and so there wasn't a lot of resources on puzzles, and I had to deal with that puzzle where you have to figure out what punishment this thief is supposed to get? Because believe me when I say, I still don't understand how they expect you to figure that one out, and I've actually seen the solution to the puzzle. When you can't even understand how you deal with the thing, even though you've seen it, there's something wrong with it then. Or you. It's entirely possible it's a problem with me. Setting an enemy on fire with a bullet is definitively damage. Sure. I like fire. Fire's always a good default thing to have. Shrapnel? Sure, let's go shrapnel. God, you got to be very close range with this one, don't you? Sure, let's go with all in on flames. Why not? Oh, I was watching some people play through Split Fiction, which is a game that I feel like I could confidently say I would never play myself, because it's very rare for a story game for me and my friends to play through a story game together. I don't know why. It's just something about my friend group. It's just very rare for us to do that. I would go as far to say, in terms of a big sort of story game, the last one that I would have played through with them is like I guess you could count the Space Marine 2 game, but like I don't really count that because it was not a huge story and it wasn't a story-focused game. The main part of that feels like it's the multiplayer, because the story is very, very short. And I guess you could make the argument it's like, well, it's short, but it doesn't mean there wasn't a story-based game. There's many short games that are definitely story-based. But anyway, I'm getting off topic there. So I played through the... I'm just taking more damage. Damage is never bad. I was watching someone play through the Split Fiction game, and that game is both really fun to watch, because they do a lot of things with the whole idea of being split screen, which I think is really, really fun. And I don't think you'd be getting from any other sort of franchise anymore, because why would you do split screen in this day and age, right? It's such a rare thing to have. Do I care about Blaze? Yeah, why not? I've gone full fire already. But yeah, it was so interesting, and also the message of it so obviously is sort of anti-generative AI, or just AI in general. It's so obvious. Like, if I'm getting it, it's obvious. And it's also, it is just a side note thing. The older I get, and I'd like to say wiser, but I don't think it's wiser. I think it's just the sort of like the basic things that would like flashing lights and special attacks don't interest me nearly as much as they used to. They still interest me, but they're not like as big of a selling point. I really want to see more like, because animation is the most of the things I watch, right? But live action stuff, it's very limited in what I watch. So I'm always there going like, I kind of wish there was more like animated things that had a badass female character that isn't just them sort of like having other people help them, you know? Because believe me, I watch a lot, I read a lot of manga, and to find that specific thing is, I don't even think it's that specific, but to get that, and it for specifically not to be that they use other people, but they themselves are badass, is so rare. So rare. And it's slightly annoying to really want to see that, but not have any sort of version of that. The reason I bring that up is because I was still thinking in the back of my mind about Devil May Cry, and they do okay at making Lady not feel like she's just sort of the second fiddle. Like, there's a lot of stuff that she does that she has character arcs that are interesting. And they do a lot of things with her that you don't expect. Without spoiling it, but there's a lot of things that she does in that situation that you don't expect. And it leaves you waiting for the story to conclude it. Because you know that, without saying anything, you know that she's going to find out that something happened. And that you know she's going to flip out when that happens. But yeah, it's very interesting. I look forward to... I want to see... Effectively, that show made me go like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to have just seen a show about her. You know, or like a show like with a character like that. Screw it, we're going double barrel. You can't beat just shooting like incredible amounts of shots at the enemy. Sure, the attacks aren't doing a metric ton of damage anymore. That's fine. Because I'm shooting twice as many. I think I'm always so hesitant to take abilities that are like damage is needed. So damage every minute's always needed. I'm always so hesitant to take things that are like damaging. What's the word? That are like damaging debuffs. But I think I've realized I need to start taking them because they're good, they're fun, they're interesting. And if you're stacking stuff that cares about every time you hit them, it matters less what damage you're actually dishing out, you know? I don't think I got the achievement for doing that, but for beating with the pistol, because I think that's the one I did actually do already. Which is kind of funny. You know what was also quite interesting about that Devil May Cry show? Because I've just gotten back onto that sort of like talking about it. Immediately me bring it up again, I'm just instantly thinking about it again. What I really liked about it is the art style. I was never really into the old sort of like X-Men show. I think I watched it when I was young. I definitely feel like I watched it when I was young, but I wouldn't be able to say that confidently that I loved it or even really remember too much about it. But seeing the art style, and the reason I bring that up is because I feel like the art style then didn't have the nostalgia to it that I feel like it had to the rest of the people. And to me, it was just like, it's fine, but I don't rate it incredibly highly. So when I actually have seen something that is using that art style now, I can see the appeal of it. I can see the reason why people are like, oh, this is a cool art style that we want to see more stuff with. And when they specifically focus it on pardon me. When they specifically focus it on long running like shows and stuff, or games or anything, where like the audience that knows of this game from the start is obviously of that generation, I think it's genius to go with that kind of art style. But yeah, it's there's not much to say more about it, honestly. I've just been having so much fun watching it. And then to go onto Twitter and then obviously see all the... I don't want to say there's like a load of people being negative about it. And it's the same people that were talking about how they disliked... It's weird. There's... I guess it's not weird. It's the whole thing of like extremes again, right? Because a lot of people have been comparing this to Freerun in the sense of their depictions of demons, right? And I don't know if this makes me... people would call me a fence sitter for saying this, but I don't think it is. I believe that the whole point of Freerun's demons is that they are irredeemable. That's the whole point of them. There's many parts in the show where they show off characters that have been outside the influence of other demons, and so it isn't a culture thing, and they have just done horrendous things. Like, they are horrendous by nature, you know? I just feel like it's just different with the and that's actually a bit of a controversial opinion, because there's one side that says, like, look, they're supposed to be evil, stop with all this stuff, stop saying that they can be redeemed and that Freeman's a horrible person for what she does. They go out away in the show to show that then they can't be redeemed. Even Himmel, the guy who's the best boy, like by far the best boy, never once has it shown that he thinks that they can be redeemed. In fact, he doesn't even try, because he obviously knows it to be true. But yeah, I don't know. I look at that, and people that are now looking at DMC and going, like, the same people who say, like, what I'm saying about Freerun are saying, like, look what they've done to DMC. They've made it so the demons are now redeemable. Like, what are they doing here? And I'm just... I think that the difference here is that I'm not taking a side in terms of, like, whether demons as a whole, in general, are redeemable or not, right? I'm just coming at this, like... in this show... this is what they obviously want to get across, and to say otherwise is stupid, because that's not what they're trying to get across. They're trying to get across that they're irredeemable. They'll show off that they're irredeemable. If they're trying to show off that then they're actually redeemable in some aspect, then if they show that, then they show that. I don't know. It's a very weird conversation, because I don't really understand the reason why people are arguing it so virulently. On either side. I seriously don't understand either side of the arguments. Like, the main reasoning behind why they're arguing it. You can make arguments, and I've definitely... one of my friends brought this up, and I definitely agree with it. It can be annoying when they just take something that is supposed to be this irredeemable villain, that's supposed to be the embodiment of evil, and they just go, but like, what if it's not? I mean, I'm shooting 6 shots there. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shooting 4 shots, but having 300% more damage feels useful. We're taking that. Like, look at that. That's worth it. 300% more damage. That more than counters the blimmin' triple bullet thing. I could be wrong, by the way, but I feel like those people, these things, these bosses here that do this attack like that, I think there's only ever one of them at a time, because it wouldn't be fair if you had multiple. I need more movement speed quick. I mean, this might also keep me alive, because those really fast walking boys, if they can just get close enough to me before I can react. If that happens, I just guarantee lose health with my movement speed at the moment. But I don't know. I try and keep out of this kind of stuff, because if I'm being completely honest, my opinion on it is, you know, it's not the incredibly complex sort of, like, incredibly well thought out opinion. It's just what comes to my head when I think of these conversations. And so that, you know, there's better people than me that are voicing the opinions of one way or another, you know. And I'm sure if I was more into the show in specific, I'd be like, maybe a bit more pissed off. But I don't know. I feel like, to a certain extent, if the show's still good because of what they do, I'm not sure if I would actually be that annoyed. I don't need more lower movement speed, but this is technically a movement speed buff by pure technicality. I really need a bigger view. I really want the cone to be bigger. I mean the circle to be bigger. Also, you know what I will say? One of the things they do in the show that I really appreciate it, especially with one sort of like group of like the mini boss demons effectively. They do very well in showing them off working together, like combining their abilities to show off specialist moves, which I really like as a concept. The fact that they do that. I almost died there. Well, not died, but I almost lost some health there. That's why I need movement speed even more. Even with the slow, that's actually not good enough. You know what I'm going to try and get back into, because I realised with DMC that I actually quite like this. I know I keep bringing this up, I'm sorry. This is the last time it'll probably be brought up. But none of these give movement speed. This technically gives more damage. And I can see stuff coming. Oh! No! Please stop. I can't dodge everything. I can't dodge anything. Please die quicker. Please, no! Please die quicker. Please die quicker. Oh, they're not dying quickly at all. Please, he's not even half health. Somebody give me a movement speed buff. I took a 20% loss for these cool abilities and it may have come back to bite me. I need to scratch my nose. Sorry, what was I saying? Oh yeah. The DMC, watching the Devil May Cry, the Devil May Cry show made me realize that I probably should try to watch more anime again. Okay. I'm gonna take this. Because it should be, depending on how this thing works, a 50% damage buff. Okay, we need this health. We need this health. We're taking the health. Oh, I don't want any of these. I'll take the movement speed buff. Okay, I have vaguely good movement speed now. There's a lot more enemies, but that should be fine, because that means a lot more XP. But yeah, it made me want to look at anime to see if there's literally anything else I would actually want to watch. Problem is, I'm obviously well at this point outside of the bracket of the people that they're actually catering to at the moment. Which is definitely something that gives movement speed. Wait, I already have movement speed. Why did I pick the bad thing? Oh well. I understand that, like, a lot of the things that are gonna do that do well aren't going to do well for me. Like, for example, off the top of my head, a lot of the sort of harem stuff, if it's just literally the whole point of it is he has a harem, it's not... Like, if that's the main selling point, then it's not going to interest me anymore. Sure, when I was a hormonal teen, that's all I was thinking about, sure, and that would be exactly what I'd be looking for. But now, not really. Like, if it's part of a show, sure. But at the end of the day, when I look at them, nowadays, I'm just like... They're kids, you know? In comparison to me, it's like... Why would I ever feel any form of, like, attraction to them? They're literally, like, students in a high school at this point. The difference in age now is to the point where, like... That obvious selling point that, you know, they're always using that as a selling point for the people they actually want to watch, which are the hormonal teenagers, obviously. But that, for me, it's not a selling point anymore. So it does limits what I can watch significantly, if I'm being honest. But there's comedy things in there that, like, I'm sure I'd be interested in, that I can watch. And, you know, there's action stuff. I need to try out Dandadan. Although I might just read the manga of that. That's the thing. But Dandadan's, like, you know... People have been referencing it as being, like, a really big thing. And, like, I know people have been talking about solo leveling and how it, quote-unquote, crashed the blimmin' websites and stuff. But I don't... I read solo leveling back when it was I read the manga. Haven't read the sequel where his son is going around, but... I read the solo leveling from start to finish ages ago, before the whole manga was before the anime was even, like, rumored to start, and it was okay. I am a fan of those sort of, like, generic sort of power fantasy isekai / regression kind of things. I don't actually think it's an isekai or a regression now that I think about it. But the sort of, like, the power fantasy thing. But, I don't know. I didn't rate it as being an incredible thing, the next great thing. I thought it was okay. Some of the action in it was really fun. But, like, as much as I like reading those, I like reading those as sort of like a cheap... I don't know, like a cheap thrill kind of thing. Whereas, why is this boss so much scarier than all the other bosses? Please, stop. No, I can't block that. No, no. No, no. What is this thing? No, seriously, what is this thing? Please, please die. Please die. Please die. No! I was so close. I was so close. I don't know how you dodged that one. I think I have to be in the right spot. Oh, man, we were trying again. We're literally the closest you could be without succeeding there. God, I was watching, I was reading one of those sort of generic sort of regression sort of power fantasy ones, and the scariest bit about it was just like, this is really cool. I really like the dark sort of themes of it. I really like the monster designs in it, And then I read up on what it was, and it's based on blimmin' Maple Story. You know, the MMO that, like, that is this incredibly, like, chibi sort of style that you definitely wouldn't look at and go, yeah, that would work for a sort of dark fantasy, sort of, like, power fantasy novel. It is funny though, because back in the early days of my life, and I think the early days of YouTube, to a certain extent, I used to be really, really into those kinds of things. Those sort of I don't know what you'd really call them, but like stories done through Maple Story, where they use the characters in it and like and all they use the characters they've made from that to make their own stories, not in that world, but using that world as like the animation tool effectively. It's a weirdly popular thing. It was used a lot for like romance sort of things back in the day, and that although that wasn't really my cup of tea, there was also a couple of decent action things that came of it as well. And so I used to be really, really into that kind of stuff. That used to be sort of the only thing I'd watch on YouTube. So to see somebody else that's using something from Maple Story, I was like, that's weird, but okay. It kind of put me off to a certain extent. And I know that's mean, but like just in my heart of hearts, I was just sort of like, I don't know. It put me off slightly. And I don't think it's anyone's fault other than me. That I just as soon as I saw that I knew it was Maple Story, it just took me out of it because I kept looking at it and going like, kept looking at it and going, oh, that's from that. That's what they've based this on. Even though it looks very unlike the thing that I'm talking about. That's what they've based it on. So weird. Like there's this cute chibi mushroom, and then you look at it in the blimmin' manga, and it's like, oh, it's this horrendous laughing sort of multi-mouthed mushroom abomination, and you're like, I can sort of see that they're similar, but I can't see anything else it would have been based on. But yeah, I don't know. Also with the One Piece one coming back, the One Piece animation coming back, and I'm like, maybe I should give that a look, because there was some incredible animations before its break. I will say people, quite rightly seemingly, are getting pissed off at Toei for just getting rid of Sanji stuff in it. Don't know why. Sanji's a great character. I mean, they literally... It's such a great character that not only is he like #1 in terms of popularity for, I think, specifically women, which is, you know, it's a whole other thing. But also like the whole cake arc where they went into like more detail about his backstory and that they made him one of the central characters. He was great in it. It was a great sort of... It was a great sort of character art, and the whole thing with that was great. I did have a problem of a lot of running, but I mean... Overall, the story beats were great in that whole thing. So I don't really understand this. I feel like there must be somebody higher up that just doesn't like him, because they are replacing him in scenes where he's in it, and in scenes where he's like, they still keep him in it. They replace the scene in a way where it makes him look weaker. Which is very weird. So I don't know what's happening with that, but I heard somebody say that in actuality they were made before the break, and so the newer stuff, I think the episode coming up would be the first one they made in the break. And so maybe they do a better job with some of the animations, because apparently some of the animations were also not the best, let's say that. I'll take the XP one, because it just means that I get a lot more XP than I would normally get. Ooh, I like this. Either way, manga still peaks, so doesn't really matter what's happening there with the actual thing. I like the extra shots a lot. That's the thing, but I think I should probably take this. I don't know how next to me they have to be. Oh, it's literally that circle that just appeared, right? Kind of hard to get close when these things move, but like... No, this one's 100% not the right choice. Yeah, this was the wrong choice here. I should have taken the double shot. We're just gonna have to get my damage from somewhere else. Rookie mistake there as well. Oh, I'm making rookie mistakes. I'm panicking. No, I'm dead. I was panicking too much. I definitely should have taken the double shot. One more try. One more try. Because if it's a good one, it should end when the stream is supposed to end. We'll take the increased vision. I just think vision generally is always good. You probably want vision out about as much as you can shoot. Because you want it to be that you can... Anything you can see in your vision, you can shoot. But also simultaneously... You know, you want to know everything you can shoot, you know? Do I want piercing? Not really. If that comes up, we exit. We delete it. Radiation... I don't think we'll need that, but... There's a chance. I'll take some forms of ricochet. It's whenever they start going like, hey, why don't you take this debuff to have this ricochet buff? That I just go, maybe I'll stop taking ricochet stuff. This one seems like it's good. But I think I'm just going to take this. Bio rate's going to be my big thing. Boom, boom. Yeah, let's take this. I'm never shooting something out of my vision, realistically. So it's effectively just a straight buff. Oh, one of the mangas I'm reading at the moment is Sakamoto Days. Obviously, it's got an anime at the moment. I've been reading it through. Didn't realize how actiony it is. I thought it would be like a slice of lifestyle comedy thing. But there's a lot of action and a lot of brutal action as well. You don't expect it. Or at least I didn't expect it when you're going into Sakamoto Days. But there's like proper blood, proper guts, proper gore. Somebody gets like bisected. Like, it's not to the level of being insanely gory, but more than you expect from a show that's just supposed to be about like a family man. It's a fun read though. I will say that. I don't think we want Pierce in any capacity, but thank you for showing me it. I have no idea why these things move at varying speeds. I wonder if they move at my speed. Is that the logic? Nope. When I stopped, they didn't stop. Is flashbang ever good? I never take it, but I also am like, maybe later on I'd take it. Doom boom. Clone Sentry is just not good in this context. I have used it on some people before. I think maybe like the revolver build and stuff, I'd probably go with it, but this seems good. I know it wasn't like constantly I was getting used out of it, but when I do, you know, it's just I guess a temporary buff, and I'm not normally a temporary buff guy, but I really like what you get after it, and that's kind of the reason why I'm picking it. Enemies in vision take more damage. Killing an enemy with a meteor will launch 6 napalm... No, I'm good. I'll just take the Ring of Death that maybe can hold back some basic enemies while I kill the main important ones. Although I'd never trust it. That's the thing. Why would I trust anyone to get that close to me? I like there's just passive buff for like everyone in my vision. If I get the ability to take that thing that allows me to buff my vision by like a lot, but I lose 1 health, I'd probably take it, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think charge round is the thing we want to go at the moment. Do we want XP pickup? I don't think we do either. Shooting an enemy revealed will freeze them. What's this? Killing an enemy increases damage and size by 5, and any kills outside will undo it. Sure. I didn't take that before, but I think it's very unlikely for me to get much, if any, kills outside of my vision. I guess those can do the kills. The balls I'm shooting out, but... feels like it's a general buff. There it is. Let's see how big, how open and closed this thing gets. It doesn't seem to be closing too much, if I'm being honest. Maybe for like a second? Oh. They double teamed me there. That wasn't fair. Okay, that one's just bad. We're taking double barrel. Oh, it's the fire rate just means I'm rapid firing now. Perfect. Wait, does bullet damage also increase the size in which I... Oh. Oh, this is good. This is real good. Oh no, this build's good. Please, no, don't die to blooming random attacks. Please don't die to random attacks. This is a good build. I like this build. Don't die to random attacks. Don't die to random attacks. Just die. Yeah, you die. Give me health. Give me this. You know what this needs? It needs this. It needs damage. Light meteor over 60 kill. Yeah, I know that. Killing an enemy with a single shot. I don't really do that much. In my opinion. What I do is this. They get close to me occasionally. Ah! Every time! I focus too much on the blimmin' dragonfly, and not on the enemy that can shoot me while the dragonfly is doing its deal. Okay, I now immediately need the shield. Give me shield, or I lose. Okay, we pick this. You know what? Never mind. We're gonna survive on 1 damage. We're just gonna focus down any form of ranged attacks and any form of anything that can hurt me. We just focus it down and we kill it before it even gets the chance to even look. Maybe I should focus on the thing that allows me to deflect projectiles. Just in the sheer fact that it would keep me alive longer. Look at that. That one over there just shooting at me. Menacingly. I actually don't think I need this time. This gives me damage. No, we're taking the slow projectiles. Screw it. I want to be able to see that attack coming. You see, if that wasn't slow, that might have been coming at the exact time that I would have been there. In fact, honestly, if that was 25% faster, if it was 25% closer to me, I honestly reckon it would do exactly that. Shield barrier, please. Ooh, I feel so much safer now. Which means, of course, next thing I fight, I'm 100% going to lose to. Am I insane to think that maybe these mini bosses come every minute? I'm not testing it, but they feel like they come about once a minute. And it would kind of make sense, because then there's obviously the integers for when the big bosses come, which I think is every 5 minutes. I don't think I ever need guided missile, thank you. More bullet damage, please. Enemy projectiles even slower, please. Now, there is a portion of enemy projectiles being so slow that they actually become more of a threat because they're that slow. I know that sounds insane, but it's not insane. I've never said an insane thing in my life. I look at that, because of how fast how slow the projectiles are, but the speed of them attacking hasn't gone down. If you can see it, you can see that what I mean. I swear I'm not insane. It becomes a bit of a problem occasionally. I do like how I effectively rapid fire. And I just have to focus down. Like, the scariest things are not the mini bosses, but it's the things that shoot me while the mini boss is doing something. It's like saying, it's like the mini boss is the tank, and the tank isn't the scary part because it doesn't do enough damage to really scare you, or you can dodge all its attacks. Never mind, we've got deflection now. We're actually invincible. Not from the boss. The final boss, that's effectively what we have to prepare for now. Which means we need damage and a cool stacking effects. I mean, we have damage over time, I think. Hold on a second. We do. We have damage over time. So every minute we're getting stronger by a solid 10%. I wish there was something they did against those things. Die, 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 die. Please, 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 just please. More damage, more size, more speed. I don't know how much the size and the speed really help me in this situation. But we did it. We did it without losing a life. And now we've got enough movement speed buffs that it doesn't matter that we have a movement speed debuff right there. Oh, this is worrying. We've got this, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this. We're killing them so fast that they actually is being a problem because it's lowering my vision. It's fine, this is fine, this is fine. We can make it through this, we can make it through anything. We effectively have 3 health. And if we lose that one of these healths, we only have to wait 3 minutes and we get the health back. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. Shrapnel. It lowers my fire rate. That's not good. Increasing damage and ricochet? Maybe. Maybe I can have one little damage buff to keep me in the fight. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. They're not coming one every minute. It was not 3 minutes when those dudes were there. I killed them too fast. Maybe if you kill them too fast, another one appears. I don't like that my vision keeps changing. I don't like it one bit. Please, I'm begging you, stop. Six shots? Shooting enemies that are on fire decrease the fire cooldown. Nah, bird shot. This was a huge mistake. This is a horrendously huge mistake. I don't know why I've done this. It's cool, though. It's horrendous against the boss as well, now that I think about it. If I had that less spread thing, it might be good. Please, please stay away from me. Please stay away from me. Oh no, that boss doesn't die instantly anymore. That's not good. That's not good one bit. Die! Oh, please die! Oh no, it got too close to me. Where's my vision? I need my vision. No, please stop with the complex attack pattern. Somebody please. I need vision. I need more vision. I need this to work. Okay. I don't care about slug deflection. I need vision. Give me vision. That's vision. Okay. 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 This is working. Sort of. This is fine. Everything is fine. Oh god, there's one of the fast ones and one of the ones that block you in an area. They knew what they were doing. They were smart. No, 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 no. Kill that one. I don't like that one. It's a more complicated one. Keep with the, like, the blimmin', what's it called? The mite thing. That thing. The blimmin' thing that bites you and you sticks itself in there. A tick. Yeah, the tick-looking one. That one's fine. Did you just try and summon a mini-boss? Look, I don't think... I'll keep that for now. Slow them down? Sure. Oh, that just lowered my movement speed against the boss. That's the biggest problem. Fine, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. Look at all this damage I do, though. Look at all this damage. That's got to be for something. It's going to be horrendous against the guy who has 2 crab claws, the final boss, because the final boss doesn't really... doesn't really have a lot of places you can shoot, so I can't evenly spread it around like this. Okay, they're all done. They're all done. Except for that one. Please stop everything. Please, let me get this. Yeah, machine gun them. Yeah, we're getting an extra bit of health. We did it. No. Sure. Give me speed. Give me... That doesn't look like I've upped it by 30% at all. What does this give me? Enemy skills, but enemies are damaged. No, reroll. Cone, useless. Why are you here? Yeah, sure. That's okay. Or this. We take this. Put the things on the floor that kill stuff. I miss having all my vision. I now have to just guess where the enemies are coming from and kill them before they get close to me. Because if they get close enough to me, they realize that I'm weak. They realize my weakness. Why can't I destroy that projectile, eh? How does that make any sense? So what if it's a big projectile? I've spent... If you inflict with overflow, you also inflict with it multiple times. Which is great, because I'm shooting infinite bullets everywhere. I kind of want to get that one that's like every 6 bullets you shoot like bullets all around you. But I think I stopped myself from taking the buff to my projectile numbers. I think this is just from the level 3 upgrade. You know, I've got decent damage for shooting so many sporadic shots out. Yeah, I'll take Scorch. It means that they get stacked with something that can hurt them. I'll be honest, I didn't really read it too much, but I saw only buffs from it, so I thought there's no reason not to take it. Other than, I guess, missing out on something better, but I don't think about those situations. Overthinking. Fear is the mind killer. That's appropriate, right? I've heard people say that before. I don't understand. If I hadn't killed that other one fast enough, if you're not quick enough to kill them, do you have to deal with multiple of them? I know I keep bringing that up, but every time I see one appear so quickly after I've killed a previous one, that's all I think about. Die, 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 die. Oh, there's another one right there. Like, was that one there before I'd killed the previous one? If so, how is that fair? We're not picking this one anytime soon. Bullet damage? No, reroll. Slug deflection? Shrapnel? None of these are good. I'll take slug deflection just so that I get XP coming towards me whenever I kill somebody that shoots a projectile at me. I don't know what I need. I'll be honest. I think I'm in that situation where I'm not sure what I need. And I'm really hesitant to take any negatives. Because if I take negatives, it means that, you know, some part of this gets worse. And I don't necessarily get a buff from the previous thing. Or the buff might not outweigh the consequences. I think when it hits 20 minutes, it'll start the boss fight. Which is really worrying because I don't feel confident enough that I've got enough single target damage to deal with him. By the way, I saw that the Path of Exile got a new... I think it was a new class and like some new weapons and stuff. Like, I think the spear is now possible to use, which is cool. It's cool. It's definitely cool. I mean, that's damage. I did say I need damage. It's not insanely useful, but it's, you know, it's something. If I can get another level up before the boss starts, that would be great. Got a sneaky suspicion that's not happening, though. Well, no, there's no chance. Okay, okay. This kind of damage is damage. Okay, that was my own mistake. I should have double backed. Yes! This is how you do it. That's 2 of them done. 2 of them done. And we're nearing the end. We have 4 minutes left. 4 minutes until it goes. So, first off, I'm going to check my phone. It's nothing related to my phone. It's just my Ring doorbell going off constantly. If we do this next week, we are definitely trying out... We're doing the sniper, which is one of my favourite, and then the dagger, which I did do very well with early on, but I don't like melee weapons very much, and I'm slightly worried about this. This layer of stuff. Not worried about the sniper. Worried about all of these, though. That's going to be a bit worrying. But until then, I will see you on Wednesday for potentially the final Baldur's Gate stream, but probably we're going to have 2 of them. We're going to have 2 streams before then, before we finish. And I'll see you on Friday for, I guess, potentially the final Final Fantasy 14 stream. Although I might do some of the patch quest stuff, because I've heard that's actually pretty good. I'm a bit hesitant because the whole thing isn't out yet. But anyway, until then, I hope everyone has a cool couple of days. I hope everyone stays chill, and I hope you liked what happened here. I hope you play Disfigure. It's great. It's a free game. It keeps getting regular updates. Until then, bye.